Okay, so I'm Jessica Olamet. I am one of the IB coordinators at Del Mar, and I also am one of the Theory of Knowledge teachers, and I teach Avid Theory of Knowledge. I'm really excited to talk to you about the IB program this evening, so let's just get right into it. The IB program stands for International Baccalaureate. It was initially started in the 1960s by diplomats who wanted to ensure that their students, regardless of what country they were living in, would be able to access a standardized and high quality education. So the IB was founded and it has continued today, and it truly is an international curriculum, meaning that students all over the world are studying these classes, and the skills and the concepts that they're learning are the same. Um, it is very challenging. It's definitely intellectually stimulating. There's a lot of student choice involved in IB classes. It is recognized by universities all over the world and all across the country. It's still not as well known, I would say, in the US and California as AP, but colleges definitely know what IB is. One of the things that makes IB really unique that I appreciate about it is that it emphasizes a holistic education. So it doesn't only encourage students to become stronger academically, it also encourages students to develop as people. And one of the ways that the IB program does that is through the emphasis of the IB learner profile. So these are 10 characteristics that students at Del Mar are encouraged to develop and reflect on over the entire 4 years that they're at our school. You can see them in the little puzzle pieces, but just in case it's too small, some of them are things like being caring, having principles, being balanced, being open-minded. So again, often these are things that are emphasized in elementary school and middle school, and then kind of left behind in high school, which is, I think, unfortunate. So I'm really grateful that we have this as part of our school curriculum at Del Mar. This graphic shows the different courses that we offer at Del Mar. In IB categorizes, they don't call them subjects, they call them groups. But they pretty much are demarcated in the same way that our subjects are here. So you can see that after each course, there's either an HL or an SL. HL stands for higher level, and that means that the course is 2 years long. So it starts in their junior year and ends in their senior year. Students might not have the same teacher for both years, but the course continues and they do their final assessments at the end of the second year, so at the end of their senior year. SL stands for standard level. Those are 1 year courses. Students can take SL classes either as juniors or as a senior. At Del Mar, you can be involved in the IB program in two ways. You can be either a diploma candidate or a course candidate. If you are a diploma candidate, that's the most rigorous option that we offer at Del Mar. It means that you are taking 6 IB classes, 1 in every subject. 3 of them have to be higher level, so the 2-year courses, and 3 are standard level. In addition to that, IB diploma candidates are required to do 3 core components, and those are written in the darker blue center of this graphic. One of the components is the IB Theory of Knowledge class. That's the class that I teach. I love teaching this class. It's so interesting. It's officially epistemology. I didn't know what that was until I got trained in theory of knowledge. It's basically learning about the nature of knowledge itself. So our essential question is, how do we know what we know? So for right now, I just started with the juniors and we're discussing what's the difference between knowing something, believing something, and having an opinion about something. It's very interesting. There's not a lot of right or wrong answers, but they're really interesting questions to talk about. Another core requirement for diploma students is the extended essay, which is a research paper on a topic of their choice. It ends up being about 10 pages long. They start that in the second semester of junior year, and they finish it early in senior year. Students have a supervisor who guides them through that process. So it's not like we just say, write a 10-page paper, good luck. They pick a teacher who works with them. So, for example, I was a supervisor for a student this year, and she decided to research how Reagan's economic policies impacted um, the working and middle class folks in this country. So she's really interested in economics, and she just nerded out on that topic. It's really, I love that students get to pick anything they want. One of my favorite topics that a student did a few years ago, she loved vampire stories. So she researched the role of women in 3 classic vampire novels and wrote an essay about it. And then the final core requirement is what we call CAS, which stands for creativity, activity, and service. This requirement is where students need to show that they are doing something creative, something physically active, and something service oriented over the 2 years that they're in the diploma program. So those 3 core requirements are required for diploma students, but they are optional for course candidates. Course candidates, again, are students who are taking some IB classes, but they don't want to do all 6 and the 3 core requirements. So we have some students, for example, who are taking 3 IB classes, and they decided they also wanted to take theory of knowledge. To give you a sense of the numbers, out of our senior class this year, we have 12 students going for the full IB diploma, but we have hundreds of students who are taking IB classes. So there's a big difference between students who choose to be course candidates and to do the full diploma. All of our IB classes fulfill the A through G requirements for college eligibility. So this graphic shows those A through G requirements. These are the minimum number of years that a student is required to take courses in each subject to be eligible for college, specifically the UCs and the CSUs, but it really applies to pretty much all the schools. So for example, if a student decides to take our IB language and literature HL class, which is a 2-year English class over their junior and senior year, that class fulfills their 3rd and 4th year of English. They don't have to take like regular English and IB English, right? IB English just replaces whatever the other English class would be if they decide not to do IB. IB diploma students end up exceeding the minimum A through G requirements. So for example, if you look at category D, lab science, only 2 years are required, 3 years are recommended, but our IB students who are doing the full diploma, and actually a lot of course candidates as well, end up having 4 years of science. So IB students, regardless of whether they're doing the course candidacy or the diploma candidacy, they have very competitive college applications. IB classes look great on college apps. In terms of why students should get an IB education, I talk about this in 2 categories, the tangible benefits and the intangible. So tangible, students get a grade bump for their IB classes, which means that if a student earns a C in an IB class, it's calculated as a B. If they earn a B, it's calculated as an A. And if they earn an A, then they calculate their GPA with a 5 for that class. That's how students get above a 4.0. If they pass the IB exams at the end of the course, then they can earn college credit. That's similar to AP. One of the biggest differences between AP classes and IB classes is that AP college credit is determined by one test that happens at the very end of the course. In IB classes, there are multiple assessments that students take, and they're each worth a different percentage of the final score. All of those scores get calculated to give an overall score. So if a student doesn't do well on one of the assessments, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to earn their college credit. They have multiple opportunities to show what they've learned. In terms of the intangible benefits, I think these are actually more beneficial. All IB classes require some type of large research paper or project, and students have a lot of choice of what they're going to do in that. And they really do mirror the type of rigor that they're going to experience in college. So our students who have graduated and go on who took IB classes come back and they tell us that they feel extremely prepared. They've learned how to tackle large research papers. They learned a huge amount of time management skills, how to deal with assignments that are, months long, not just a week or a few days. They learn academic skills, right? Their reading and their writing skills are very strong. They will have all written papers, probably 4 to 5 pages in length. So they'll come back and say, you know what, my roommate's freaking out because they've never written a paper this long. And I've already done that a few times. So their confidence at feeling like they're prepared and ready to tackle college level work is very high. If you want to hear more from our students currently who are in the IB diploma program and who are course candidates, last week at this time, we held our annual Can IB Be For Me event. It was virtual, but we recorded that event and you can watch that video. You can find it on our website. It's so inspiring to hear from actual students. And if you have a student who is maybe wondering about IB, I would highly encourage them to watch it too. I think students, are much more receptive hearing from other kids than from teachers. So check that out. These are the different options for ninth graders coming into Del Mar. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but I want to let you know that all of our guidance counselors and or myself will be visiting our feeder middle schools. Your students should be getting a packet with detailed information about their different course options. If you would like to have a more personalized meeting for your student to pick their classes and maybe even plan out what they might take in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you're more than welcome to email me and we can schedule that meeting. It's a busy time of year, so it might not happen for a few weeks, but we have a lot of time. So they may initially pick classes, and then if we meet and they make a change, that's totally okay. I'll put my email up at the end of the presentation. Yeah, if you're not at a feeder middle school, please email me and we can help you out with that. I did want to play this video. This is a short clip. I want to check my time here. Oh yeah, we've got time. From Eric Esparza. He graduated in our first cohort of students that was able to earn their IB diploma in 2018. He's now at UC Berkeley in the legal studies honors program. We're so proud of him. I'd like to play this video because Eric did not enter high school as a straight A student. He would not, on paper, he did not look like your stereotypical IB diploma candidate. And I like students and families to know that you do not have to come in being a perfect scholar to earn your IB diploma. So I'm going to let you hear what he had to say. I recorded this with him a couple weeks ago. There was a little bit of a internet glitch, so it kind of stalls out for a second, but it's minor.
My name is Eric Esparza. I graduated from Del Mar High School in 2018. I'm currently a senior in my last year at UC Berkeley, part of the Legal Studies Honors Program. So to briefly describe what my life was like coming in as a freshman to Del Mar High School, I will definitely say that I, in no way, shape, or form was I ever incentivized to work hard in my classes or even exceed to obtain my high school diploma. And much of that had to do with me being involved with the wrong group outside of school, me doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, but also because of my parents who are both undocumented immigrants in this nation who never obtained their high school diploma. I never had those parents that I could look up to and follow in their footsteps. But then the IB program was presented in front of my class on my freshman year, and I just knew that this was my opportunity to change my life around, to really work hard in my education, because I started realizing how important my education was to my life and to my future. And more importantly, because I wanted my parents' sacrifices into coming to this nation as immigrants to be worth something. So I enrolled in the IB program. It was definitely hard, from going in my standardized courses from my freshman year and getting barely passing grades into now going into IB curriculum where I was trying to get A's and B's. It was even harder because I had personal obstacles at home where I had to be taking care of my own mother. I had to be helping out my family on the weekends, working in landscaping to help pay the rent and pay the bills. So there was just a lot compiled all together. But I continued proceeding with the help of my teachers in the IB program and the IB program as well during my junior and senior year. And eventually I came to the point where I was part of a few dozen students who graduated with as IB diploma candidates.
All right, so that's Eric. Again, just emphasizing that students do not have to be perfect straight A students to succeed in the IB program, whether they're course candidates or diploma students. We really welcome all students and we want all students at Del Mar to participate in IB.
My name is
Eric, you don't get to talk again. Here's my email. Please jot this down. If you want to set up an appointment, I'm more than happy to meet with you and your student. Sorry, I always end up going right to the end. But please get in touch. Don't be shy. And hopefully we'll see you all in the fall. You've got a 5-minute window right now if you want to join a different breakout room. Otherwise, have a great rest of your evening, and I'm going to stop recording now.